So I got 7 myths and misconceptions that really get under my skin, and they turn the new predator hunter off to actually getting out in the field. So the first one that I put pen to paper with is this one time. You all got that friend, family member, dad, uncle, good buddy that tells you the story of this one time. Now, this is really difficult for a new predator hunter to actually grasp the concept of hearing a story of somebody telling you this one time. Ask questions. What was the wind doing? How was it blowing? Where did you park? How did you walk into your stand? You can't take this one time and apply it to every single scenario. You know, I do a lot of game calling seminars, and I'm pretty humble. I'm a humble guy speaking in front of a crowd, and I can pick that guy out of a crowd that says, well, this one time he experienced the pine cone. That one story of an isolated incident. It happened once. Yeah, it could happen again, but they preach that as their gospel. Like, that's how it's supposed to happen every single time, when in fact they experienced an isolated incident and they preach it as their gospel. So if you hear those stories of this one time, take it with a grain of salt and try to ask as many questions to follow up after the success of that one particular hunt. So don't take this one time as gospel. Ask some questions. That's very difficult for me to say to a new hunter in the field, but try to be cognizant of that when you hear those stories of, oh, this one time. Ask questions throughout the whole entire hunt leading up to the success. And then maybe you can kind of pick it apart a little bit. So the second is a new rifle. Oh, if you want to hunt this animal, and coyote, fox, bobcat, you need a new rifle. You got to buy this. You got to buy the best of the best. You got to have this caliber. 204, 243. I shoot a 22 250. I'm proficient with what I have. I've shot a lot of coyotes with the shotgun. I've shot a lot of coyotes with the 223. I have my preferred rounds, but if you're told you need this caliber to hunt this particular animal, it's shot placement and what is the bullet actually designed to do when it hits and impacts with a target. So I'm shooting a 22 250 with a hand load with a Sierra Blitz King tip with 8208 powder with a lot of propellant in there, fast, flat shooting. And coyotes, shot placement, center on the chest facing, and on the scapula. Not big game. Coyotes are not big game animals. They don't bleed like big game. And if you didn't have the technology of thermal at nighttime and you miss the scapula, you hit lungs, 100% you killed the coyote, but good luck recovering it. They don't bleed like big game. If you don't have snow on the ground, very difficult to track that animal. And you're not going to really, depending, there's so many variables with this. Target shot placement with any of your fast, flat shooting calibers where you're targeting coyotes, put it on the scapula, right on the shoulder. This is what is going to happen. The bullet, like just picture your Hornady VMAX, a polymer ballistic tip. When that bullet hits the pelt and you miss the scapula because you were intentionally or inadvertently, you missed your shot, it happens, I've done it, you miss the scapula and you actually hit rib cage, ribs the size of popsicle sticks, soft tissue and organs, and then you have exit. Most of the time, I can't say most of the time, these are hypotheticals on what I've experienced over time. You miss the shoulder, you hit lungs, and you might have a gaping exit hole, you might have a smaller exit hole, but you typically have an exit hole. The coyote does the spinny spins and then takes off. If you hit the scapula, you did your job as a hunter. You ethically went out into stand, you took a shot, and you killed that animal right where it stood. I don't care if it's a coyote, it's a predator, like, we need that animal. It's part of our habitat. It's a necessity within our ecosystem, but it's also proximity in numbers. But I don't want to see an animal suffer. Shot placement is detrimental for coyote recovery and pelt conservation if that's your goal. Shoot the coyote, hit the scapula. When that bullet hits the pelt, it hits the scapula. That's where I refer to that bullet as a paintball. You shoot a paintball against a wall and that paintball just goes and explodes. When you hit the scapula, the bullet goes through the pelt, hits the scapula, the bullet blows up and fragments and catastrophic damage to every internal organ inside of that animal's chest, and you do not have an exit hole. You crippled the animal and you dropped it right where it stood. Just the ethics of it. So shot placement is clutch on any caliber of fast, flat shooting predator rounds, regardless of the caliber. Put it on the scapula. Broadside, center of center on the chest facing. So another misconception that I've seen is you gotta have this scent, this cover scent, this, any odor, it's wind direction. I cannot say and stress enough, parking and walking into stand on any scenario, your wind direction is going to be key for success. As long as your wind is not blowing into the habitat where you think the animal is, daytime or nighttime, go call the stand. If the wind is blowing into that habitat, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to call that stand. So the fourth thing is the perfect sound. You have to have the perfect sound. I am capable of human error. If you listen to me I just did it. Perfect example. If you listen to me talk, I'll stutter, people fart, they hiccup, they burp. We have audible imperfections while we're talking. You don't have to have the perfect sound. Practice, be proficient. Most of all, be confident in the sounds that you're creating before you go to a stand. Here's the most important thing while communicating. If you hear an audible goof up, recover. Don't just stop and be like, oh man, I totally screwed that up. Don't stop. Just recover as quick as you can. And that audible goof up is completely overlooked. Completely overlooked. You get a little bit of reed stick on a hand call. Any scenario, if you goof up, just recover real quick and just keep going with it. But you gotta practice. So another misconception, the fifth thing, you need to have night vision. You need to have thermal. I started with shotgun, ambient light, moonlight, and daylight. And it helped me learn the body language of the animal, how they react to calls, being able to see them in the daytime, which way are they going to naturally gravitate. You don't need to jump right in and spend the money. The one guy that really makes me nervous is, excuse me, the one guy that makes me nervous is, I'm a big boy, I have money, I have a full-time job, I'm gonna go buy a thermal. And they don't know anything about the body language of a coyote, how they react to calls, and they can afford a 256, 384 processor thermal, and they can't identify that hard charging doe coming into a fawn distress off of an e-collar versus a coyote coming in. Those are the guys that make me concerned, where take some time, get some trigger discipline. Don't jump right into it. Spend some time daytime calling, nighttime calling, using ambient moonlight, using natural light. Get a red light, handheld binoculars, and that's not attached to a firearm, so it can't shoot, but it gives you a heads up of is there or is there not a mammal out in the field or in the environment that you're hunting. So don't feel like you have to jump right in. Night vision or thermal, a good manifestation is daytime calling, red lights, then night vision. Start to put some numbers under your belt, learn the animal, learn the body language. Don't just jump right in and buy a thermal, and that's probably where some bad decisions are going to be made over the course of time. And I don't want to see bad things happen to good people with good intentions. So the sixth thing are e-collars. I have honestly been a little jaw dropped at the pricing of some of the e-collars out there on the market. And if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Battery life, battery expectations, the weight of the equipment, hauling equipment out there. I don't want to talk ill about them. They're a functional tool out in the field. I'm a hand call builder. I like advocating for the product that I'm building, that I'm selling, that I'm using, but start simple. Remember that old KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. Invest your time, not your money, before you jump right into this. So the seventh thing is, this is probably going to tick a lot of people off, marketing ploys. I'm a game call builder. This is what I do for a living. This is my sole means of income for, sustainability for myself and my family. I'm a game call builder. I want to advocate for what I build, what I sell. I like to think that I build the best. Maybe I don't. I like to think that I am the best at teaching somebody on how to be successful with the products that I make to be successful out in the field. So the marketing ploys that some companies put out there don't cover two key phrases that I constantly bring up: carrying capacity and population density. You have to recognize what you have available in nature before you can actually be successful. If they're not there, you're not going to do it. Our first year hitting triple digits in upstate New York, we were out 5 to 6 times a week to hit triple digits. We put in a lot of work to come up with those numbers. It was the camaraderie. My partner Andy and I, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of success. We had a great time together. Now, we have friends that are west of the Mississippi, not our eastern coyote, because we don't have the population density. We don't have that carrying capacity to hold that many of that particular species of animal. West of the Mississippi, we have friends that are hitting triple digits on the regular. It's a drop in the bucket for them. When we hit over triple digits that one year, that was mind-blowing for us that we were able to accomplish it. But 5 to 6 days a week, we put our nose to the grinding stone to actually accomplish that and come up with those numbers. The marketing ploys that are out there are, if you buy this, you're guaranteed success. You, as the hunter in your area, your demographic, where you live, do you have that many? Do you want to spend that money? And you really don't have to spend the hundreds and if not thousands and thousands of dollars to be successful. Just get your foot in the door, and KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Go out, have fun, and take some of this advice that I've shared with you, and I hope you can be successful out in the field.